What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the NYJF pod. Fireman Ed, Jason Coppell, and Rob Carpenter in the house tonight. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Good. Great.
All good.
Fired up to record.
Let's get it.
Got a lot of topics on hand for tonight. We got some Taylor Swift dancing video reactions to talk about, some giant beat reporter clickbait. Jay, you want to start us off? Give a little shout out to Act.
I would love to. First, I just want to say, look, shout out to our sponsors over at Stumpy's, over at Tac Ops. Amazing entertainment in the off season. I just want to show everybody a little something. This is actually Stumpy's. Our guy Armando over there has been accumulating quite a collection. It's like a little hall of fame of drawn up, customized axes that like the Jet players, since they're in such close proximity to Florham Park. Jet players go in there often, and he gets them to sign the axes, and he's really accumulated quite a collection. I was there for like the Jamal Adams one, at our event a couple of years ago, and Brian Winters and all those guys. Ed, remember when we went over to Brian Winters' house that time and we made those shirts for him and everything? Good times. But he's got a nice collection over there. And for any Jet fan with kids, or you want to go toss some axes around and check out some Jets, some pretty cool Jets memorabilia. I mean, that wall is pretty solid. So just want to give him a shout out.
He wanted to do one of me a while back. I think I met that guy not long ago. He's
a good dude.
He's a really nice guy. Very nice.
He was at our event. He's been sponsoring and helping us out with all the stuff that we've been doing for years now. So that's our guy. So I want to give a quick little shout out to get the show started.
All right, so before we get into all the reports from OTAs, I guess just starting off on a lighter note, all the videos going around of Aaron Rodgers, just celebrating at the Taylor Swift concert, him showing off his dance moves, saying the Jets are winning the Super Bowl as the confetti's raining down. I can't believe that there's some people actually complaining about this. Like, this guy's living his best life, just enjoying New York. It's the off season. He's taking in a concert while he's at OTAs, by the way. Like, what's the issue here? Aside from his dance moves, which weren't too great.
There's no issue. Like, what really would be the issue for a guy going to see a concert in the offseason?
Like, haters are gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate.
You're seeing the hate. In my opinion, Rob, the hate is coming out like through the roof, man. Like, it's crazy. And we didn't get it. I mean, we're in May, just June 1st now.
Yo, who amongst us?
I get it from some of the former Packer fans, but when you see some Jets fans complaining about it, it's like when is a guy actually supposed to go to a concert? Like, you don't want to.
I don't think it's the Jet fans. I think it's the Giant fans.
Who amongst us doesn't love Taylor Swift? Let's be real. That was something we used to just keep in our cars, right? Like, roll the window up and start, nodding your head to some solid Taylor Swift music. But now that Aaron Rodgers is in town and he's out there in public dancing to it, now you can roll your windows down. You can blast that Swiftie. So all I'm saying is you just gotta shake it off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Jay, I love it. That's good.
Good one, Jay. Good one.
That's well played. And speaking of the haters, I guess we could shift right to the ridiculous article from that Giants beat reporter. And I didn't even click the article, but I saw there was 200 quote tweets within 2 hours, which was, clearly all the Jet fans responding to it. I'm not even going to get into Daniel Jones versus Aaron Rodgers. It's pointless. It's not about Aaron Rodgers versus Daniel Jones. Aaron Rodgers is going to take care of what he needs to take care of. But the fact that so many people feel the need to respond to all this stuff, like Ed, you were just saying, the Jets are going to be brought up by a lot of teams. There's 31 other beat writers and fan bases out there that I think all recognize. You bring up the Jets, you bring up Aaron Rodgers, it's going to bring you clicks. So for me, it's just stay away from it.
I'm just telling you, and I believe this. I've believed this long before Aaron Rodgers came. Understand something. They have a foot on our neck for a long, long time. It's going on a long time. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's just a fact. And man, I'm telling you that when you're threatened and you feel understand something, this guy is a top 5 quarterback of all time. Now, understand the 40 days leading up to this, the 40 days leading up to him getting traded, you got to remember, there was plenty of people. It's not going to happen. It ain't never going to happen. That's all you heard. That's all you heard. Now it's happened, and now the pressure's on. right? It's not, the pressure's not on us because we're going to do what we do. That's how I feel. Like, I just got through with this week. I did a bunch of different things this week. And I said, don't be afraid to embrace winning a world championship. Are you out of your mind? We haven't been able to even think about this since Rex. That we got close twice. Listen, there hasn't been a lot of times. I'm going 50 years, and there has not been a lot of times in 50 years where you could say you have a legitimate shot at something. And I'm just telling you, the hate, and remember what I told you with the foot on the neck. I believe that wholeheartedly, and no one's going to change my mind about that. And I know where it's coming from. I'm not going to get into this whole thing with the article and everything. I know where it's coming from. That's it.
Rob, your thoughts?
Listen, I'm just right there with Ed, man. For all these years, all this hate that's coming around with the Jets, anytime you mention the Jets, something or somebody from, whether it's the fan base, whether it's the beat writers, something to that effect, they are going to have something negative to say, regardless. I'm telling you right now, the Jets could win the Super Bowl, and there will be a beat writer that makes some article out there about one of the guys actually going out the night after the Super Bowl party and having a good time. I'm telling you, it's just going to be something that way. And it just comes with the territory now. And I'm pretty sure we're all used to it. We're all used to seeing it. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. Somebody's actually going to try and start something negative with the Jets. And I'm going to say it again. What could you possibly hate about a guy in the offseason going to a concert and having a good time about it? I mean, seriously, that's just somebody just nitpicking, trying to find something to actually get, people riled up about.
Well, speaking of getting riled up, there was an article I saw. I mean, just to give an example of how ridiculous it's gotten in this modern age of extreme insanity in the headlines and everything. I saw an article. Jets give crushing news to their fans, a crushing update to their fans about Breece Hall. And I was like, wait, what? Where was that? And then so like an idiot, I clicked the article because I was like, what, did I miss something? And it was literally just repeating the positive news that Robert Saleh said. And they spun it in a way that Saleh was like, yeah, he's making great progress. We're hoping to have him back in time for the regular season. But they spun it as he might not be ready for the regular season. And that was the crushing news. And
I think the exact quote from Saleh was that he fully expects him back for week 1. Yeah, exactly. I saw that too in the Daily News.
All right, listen,
that was after Rodgers with the calf, right?
This is a month when he's not even here. A month, 1 month. I sent this to one of the Jets in Florham Park. Works for the organization, and I said, I just got back from Myrtle Beach. I said, I just seen this. I was scrolling to see things. I said, this is an outright disgrace. I said, they should be banned from Florham Park. Okay, they should be banned from Florham Park. That is unbelievable. What I just said, this guy's not here a month. We're in May. Well, think about what you're talking about. When you see this, I purposely screenshotted this. I said, this tells you all you need to know. And I'm going to just tell you, I'm not going to continue with the negative vibes. That's not going to happen because I'm going to enjoy the journey. Mm-hmm. I'm going to enjoy the journey. And
we suffered for all this time. We deserve some enjoyment. We can put the suffering aside. If somehow it goes, it reverses course and we have somehow a terrible season, which I can't foresee, but then maybe be upset. But why don't you try and enjoy yourself for now? It's all positive vibes.
But Jay, we've been upset for so many goddamn years over so many goddamn things. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I'm just telling you that I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this. And I'm done with that. That's just, you know what that does? That doesn't get me mad anymore. That just drives me. That just makes the mission that much greater. It makes me that much hungrier. It makes me that much stronger because when you keep just remember one thing. every knock, my father used to say this, every knock is a boost. Every knock is a boost because the more you knock me down, the more I'm going to come. I'm going to come harder. I'm going to come stronger. I'm going to come faster because the ultimate goal is to raise that Lamar Hunt trophy in our house and go to the Super Bowl and raise the ultimate goal or the ultimate trophy, which is the Lombardi. But I want to see it go right through our house. That's the mission. That's what everybody's mission should be. I don't want to hear no bullshit. That should be the mission. And they'll be talking about this when we go.
Let's go.
Okay? And that's the truth. That's the truth. So listen, bring it on. Let's go. Let's go. We've been knocked down so many times, man. Let's go. Let's go.
And that's why I think it's easy clickbait at this point. You know, like we're so used to being the same old Jets that, you know, teams could just kind of throw our name under the bus like that. It's not those times anymore.
Let's go.
Rob, as a player though, like do you guys tend to hear that stuff and like do you guys make anything of it? Is it extra motivation for you guys knowing that, you know, the media is counting you out already and, you know, throwing out those bullshit headlines already?
Sometimes. You know, if it's for this team this year though, you know, I don't think that'll take place probably until like July. You know, because right now these guys are right now just having fun, man. You know, it's the all season. They're getting their workouts in. You know, getting that camaraderie together. You know, they've got the guy that they all wanted. You know, here leading them. So right now they're not paying attention to that at all. Now, if you see that again in end of July, in August, you know, where the actual beat writers are actually making a big deal about something. Nothing, and you got the other team that's in the locker room, you know, next door to you, you know, and their beat writers are making, you know, negative posts for the simple fact that they actually played them this year. Yeah, there'll be some motivation with that, absolutely. Especially if there's a couple of players that actually chime in about that. So, you know, a beat writer trying to make a comparison between Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers. They all know it's not really a comparison. That's not a comparison. You know what I'm saying? Now, Daniel Jones has gotten a lot better, but you know he's not in Aaron Rodgers' territory. Even at this point in Aaron Rodgers' career, he's not that guy yet. But you know, there's going to be something said probably in August that will get the guys actually, you know, riled up and have that little chip on their shoulder. Because I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is going to have a chip on his shoulder, you know, all on his own without any of the.
I think he's already got that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, so you know there'll be a couple of guys with him, you know, riding in that boat. Speaking
of chip on his shoulder, did you guys notice that Aaron Rodgers was out? They had a picture on Instagram, I think. He was out the other night with Tim Boyle, Chris Streveler, and Uzama, but noticeably missing in that mix was the other piece of the quarterback room, our number 2 draft pick. Like, is that weird that he's not like going out with them, or is he not invited, or is he not in town? Like, I'm kind of curious what the story is there, because like the whole quarterback room being there besides that the other night.
He's got to be in town. He's at OTAs.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out like.
Well, he was gone for the weekend. I know they had all pictures of him jet skiing with his girlfriend and everything.
I was just going to say that. So I don't think Zach was in town. I think Zach was away because
he was. He was in Utah.
Yeah.
He was in Utah. They have all footage of him with his brother.
I saw a couple of pictures of him and his new girlfriend. So I'm sure he was.
His girlfriend and his brother and that. So I don't think he was in town, honestly, because I know Rodgers does like him.
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers likes him, but you know, listen, I'm just telling you, you're going to see this thing. It's all good because I have scenarios in my brain that we're going to leave for another for down the road. But I'm gathering it all. I keep it right back here. I keep it right back here because when these games come up, I'm telling you, man, it's our time, and you know there's gotta be a lot of things that are gotta be dug up, and I want to stick it to a lot of different people because remember we got stuck to. I'm not gonna get into. There's a lot of stuff, man.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was Zach Wilson, I had a choice. You know, weekend with my girlfriend or hanging out with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers is only gonna be here for another year or two. So I'm
So he's
taking
gonna
that.
be here for at least 2, baby, and probably 3. Let's go. Let that contract come out. Let's go.
The argument could be made that
go.
Aaron Rodgers will likely be here way longer than his new girlfriend is there. But we'll see.
Let's
I think Rodgers is going to be here and Zach's not going to be here. I got news for you. Yeah. I think Rodgers is going to be here and Zach's not going to be here. That's my opinion. Did you see the latest article I seen? I don't know who it was. I just seen like a headline, and I don't know if it was true or what. And when I went to click on it after Google, it was gone. I was like, wait a minute. That the Vikings are interested in Zach Wilson. Did you see that?
Really?
Yeah.
What would any team be willing to give up for him, though? You're
know.
Talking 5th or 6th round pick, probably at best. So.
Remember, there's always, Rob knows this, there's always one coordinator or a coach that's in love with a player, and that's all it takes. There's 32 teams, man. Mm-hmm. It just takes like they're looking over there and go, wait a minute. Right? It's the truth.
One guy that says, I can fix him.
Yes. Yes.
And that's how it begins.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying.
Donald.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I was going to say. He might be starting in San Francisco this year. Geno Smith is thriving in Seattle. It's not unheard of. I mean,
what a time to be alive.
Yeah. It's crazy.
All right, so next topic that I think you guys might fight a little bit about, just based on the group text. A couple receivers became available. DeAndre Hopkins officially released. Devante Adams doesn't look like he's too happy with the Raiders. I know based on everything that Saleh said, the Jets seem happy with what they have at receiver. Corey Davis doesn't look like he's going anywhere, but they still have that flexibility if an opportunity presents itself to upgrade. So, Ed, I'll start it off with you. Do you think if Hopkins wants to come here, which is a big if, the Jets should be players in that?
No, I don't. I have no interest in Hopkins. None. Zero. Kaput. None. We don't need him. I don't like the fact that report came out with Albert Breer. I don't know if you've seen this, Rob, that he interviewed countless GMs in this league. And, I mean, I don't know what his word is, but he came down with a stat that 50% of them felt like Hopkins is shot. Like he's not the Hopkins of old. Now, when I see 50% of the league, that makes me go, now there's always going to be guys that don't like somebody. I get it. But when I see like 50%, I went, what?
But it probably would have been higher if you asked about Randy Moss when he went, when he was leaving the Raiders and went to the Patriots, but he wasn't washed. He was just with the wrong organization, right? I mean, DeAndre Hopkins still has, if you saw what he did last year, he put up big numbers, even on for the amount of games that he played and everything. He was trending towards over the course of a season, like 1,400 yards or something like that receiving. Guys have still got it.
He was a top 10 receiver the last 7 games of the season with Colt McCoy as a quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. I hear you, Ed, but listen. I would love DeAndre Hopkins.
Devante Adams, another story.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's where I was going to go.
Hopkins, we don't need. I mean, we got good.
I want Devante, and I would give up a healthy package to get Devante Adams here because I feel like that would put us over the top. If you had Adams and Garrett Wilson and Lazard and Hardman, that would be unguardable.
Well, but you got to understand, Devante's with Aaron Rodgers, so there's a difference. Right. They already have all that love and chemistry and everything. So you would give something up. But Hopkins, that's a whole nother ball game. Like that's just something totally different. I don't see it. Maybe Rob does. I don't see it.
No, I think D-Hop is just a different receiver. And don't get me wrong, I don't think he's washed at all. Like he's still going to be, again, I think this year.
I take your word more than anybody else, than Albert.
With a decent quarterback, he'll be a top 10 receiver this year. I just don't think he would be a fit with the Jets. No,
but if he goes to Buffalo, I mean, that's going to be tough.
Right? You're talking Texans or Cleveland.
Texas got to guard guys, Jay. So just think about Miami. I mean, Miami's got 2 of the fastest receivers in the league. You know what I mean? And those guys are good. They're not just fast guys. Those guys are good. Waddle and Hill. Those guys are really good. So, I'm not going to take anything away from DJ and Saul. So if those guys are out there healthy, I know they can cover pretty much anybody in the league, as a team goes. So, but now, like you guys said, Devante, that might be a little different story. I think would hamper Garrett a little bit because I do know when it comes to crunch time, Aaron will be going to Devante a lot. Those guys just have that rapport. So it wouldn't matter if there was another Pro Bowl receiver on the other side. Devante's going to get the ball. And like I said, I think that would hamper Garrett just a little bit. But maybe you wouldn't be able to pass that up if that opportunity came by to help this team out. But if Brees comes back healthy, you're probably going to be looking at the Packers of 2-3 years ago. With Garrett. Garrett is just going to fill the spot of Devante. Brees is going to be that explosive running back that they have out there with Aaron Jones.
Think they'll go to 12 personnel, Rob, with the 2 tight ends a lot?
I do, because I think they want to have those guys on the field, because I do think they actually want to improve the running game and not put Aaron in such a position where he's got to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game.
And he loves that play action off that 12 personnel.
Right. And that's what it is. So if you've got the running game going, Aaron's play action is just phenomenal, man. His ball handling is insane. It's phenomenal. So, that's gonna work out great for them. If they have that running game going, you got the 2 tight ends, and the 2 tight ends are weapons down the field. So it's not like those guys are just throw-ins in there just to block.
Rob, what about when this is? I've been just salivating thinking about Rodgers. Right? I've been looking at some of his film, and when here's the things that are gonna really just make everybody out of their minds, because we've never had this ever. When he runs to the line of scrimmage, he's got these guys already. He's gonna go, going to substitute. He's gonna go up and snap the ball, and that 5 yards is gonna be huge for that drive to win the game. We're gonna go back and go, oh shit. All right. Or he's gonna have one of these where he's whatever it is with Garrett, he goes like this, whatever it is. When he does like this, he tugs the tug, whatever the fuck their thing is, and
double check,
and a slant, or with that quick slant, or the slant and then back out. They love that one. That's what Adams did a lot, where he went in with the slant and went back out to the outside. There's so many things this guy's gonna do that we're gonna be going nuts.
He's going to have so one thing I like, I don't know if you guys actually saw this, where Brees actually said that he's actually quizzing guys in their meetings now to make sure they know exactly where they are, what they're supposed to be doing. Now, when you have a guy like that comes into the meeting and it's not the coaches that are actually asking guys questions like that, when you have the quarterback trying to make sure guys know where to be at the right time in certain scenarios, when those guys are actually on the same page together, that's fun, man. I can tell you that right now. That's fun. That's a fun place to be in. That's a fun offense to be in. I had that one time in my career when I was in Philly, and everyone knew where they were supposed to be, what they were going to do. Quick checks, like you just said, Ed.
So, who was the quarterback?
It was Rodney Pete.
Wow. He was underrated, right?
He was. Rodney didn't have the strongest arm in the world, but Rodney was smart, man. He was smart as hell. So he knew where the ball should go, when it should go there. So, and this is what I'm saying. So what you were just talking about, Ed, when you say, a guy gives Aaron's going to give that look to Garrett, or that check, rubbing his head, anything. It can be anything. He'll come to the line of scrimmage and just wink his eye, and they'll know what to do. Where sometimes you've seen, I'm pretty sure you guys seen it with Aaron. He'll come to the line of scrimmage and he'll throw a quick slant when you know that it was a running play. So everyone, the offensive line, the running backs, everybody has taken off.
Let's go now, right now. I want to go right now.
And that segment.
Rob, wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. Just remember this. Just remember, I was thinking, my mind's going, right? Aaron Rodgers had a chance to host Jeopardy. This guy, you cannot host Jeopardy if you're not brilliant. It's impossible. It's impossible. You will look like a fool if you go on Jeopardy and you don't know what you're talking about. And they were talking about him retiring and taking Alex Trebek's spot. I said, you understand that this man is brilliant? He's brilliant. We are going to have a quarterback under center that is got the IQ of everybody. He outbeats everybody. Let's go.
There's going to be plenty of times where he gets pissed off at the line of scrimmage because somebody did something wrong. It's not even going to be the coaches actually, having to say anything when you come to the line, when you come to the sidelines. He's going to be the one on the field.
I'm telling you, George, Jay, you're going to use that shorty. That's a shorty for you.
We're so blessed to have these new microphones to pick that whole thing up, because that would have blown Ed's entire microphone out.
Right now.
But I do want to say,
this guy the last couple of days, I'm losing my mind.
I do want to say that segment was brought to us by the Pat McAfee Show.
Hell yeah, Rob Carpenter knows.
Yeah, I love it, Rob. Rob Carpenter knows. My man.
You know it.
My man, Rob.
We got it.
So just going back to what you were saying about, Rodgers holding guys accountable, and Saleh was on the mic, after OTAs, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, where he was talking about like the locker room and how, the best locker rooms are able to police themselves. And I remember a few years back, we had Marvin Jones on the show, and he said the same thing about like a lot of those teams under Parcells, where yes, he was the CEO, but it never had to reach Parcells because every position group had at least one or two leaders that kind of got things together. So like, Rob, how important is that for a relatively young core to have a lot of these veteran leaders that they can lean on?
That's absolutely important. And that bodes well for a winning format. So, that's true. So if you go around the league and you see some of the best teams, they have veterans who actually do police the locker room. You know what I mean? So certain things don't get out. You don't say certain things to the media. Everything stays in-house, and they take care of it in-house. And the coaches don't have to get involved. That's why I was a little surprised when we talked about a couple of weeks ago with McCott, giving those quotes to Newsday. Because normally at this point in time of the season or the off season, guys will be known to say, be aware of what you say at this point in the season to anyone coming around, especially now. You got Aaron Rodgers in the building, and everything is brand new, everything is looking up, and to have, just one random, quote or two, even if he spoke for 5 minutes and they just took one snippet and it was taken out of context, it's still going to be to that point where you should have known not to say much. At that time, you can still get your point across about what you want to get done or how you feel. But yes, it's absolutely correct. Marvin is right, man. The best teams have guys in the locker room or vets in the locker room that know how to, take control of certain things if they see anything getting out of hand. That way the coaches actually can concentrate on what they need to concentrate rather than having to deal with, player issues in the locker room or player issues outside of the locker room. They can just concentrate on game plans and recruiting and doing everything else that they need to do.
This was the same thing that happened in the firehouse. I was in one firehouse, but then I was up in Harlem, and it was a very, very busy company. So what would happen was, you have your officers, so you have your chiefs, your captains, lieutenants, right? But then there's the men, the firemen, and the senior guys, just like it would be in a locker room. When things would happen, it would never get to just like it would be the coaches, right. It would never get to the officers. The men policed the firehouse. They took care of it, and it was taken care of there, and you shut your mouth and don't say nothing. And if you were a weak link, you weren't going to be there long. You were going to be out the door going with a transfer order. So I fully get what's going on in that locker room, because that's just a fact. That's just a fact.
Just think about it. And it's basically the same thing. So when you walk into the locker room, that's basically your house.
That's it.
Of course, everybody's house, you got parents and then you got kids. You know what I'm saying? So basically it's the vets that are on the team that are parenting, everything that's going on inside the house, because you got a lot of young guys coming in, the rookies, of course, they want to go have a good time here and there, but you'll have those vets, out there just basically saying, listen, you can go here, go there, whatever, just be careful what you say to this guy, that guy. Be careful where you go here, there.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. So when you have that, and you have vets that are willing to actually do that, that's actually a good thing as well. Because there are some that just say, man, I don't care. I don't care what these guys do. It's not part of me. But when you're building a team that actually has veterans on the team and a lot of young guys, and those vets are willing to actually take those young guys under their wing and make sure that the locker room stays as a family, then yeah, you're good to go.
Well, that's why they're championship teams, because they that's a major part of it that the fans don't have any idea of. They have no clue of that, and they're not even thinking of it until you bring it up because you played.
Yep. Even a guy 1 minute late to a meeting, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Where a coach wouldn't have to say anything. It could be a vet grabbing this guy and pulling him to the side, like, man, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's him time. Stop with the bullshit.
And I agree with that, Stefan Rosiak. Good
Yep.
point.
So we'll get to a couple comments. If you guys have any questions, fire away. This leads right into the next topic. I think DJ Reed's in for a big year because Sauce is going to get their best receiver, whoever they're playing. DJ is going to be able to eat and get a lot of interceptions. And I think he had some comments a few days ago, about being an all-pro snub, which again, he had the numbers. He was every bit as good as Sauce was last year. Is he the most underrated Jet right now in your eyes?
Did you see Pro Football Focus? I think has the ratings.
Oh, it's Dolphins one.
They had DJ Reed. No, I'm talking about individual players.
Okay.
They had Sauce number 1 and Jalen Ramsey number 2. They had DJ Reed at 21. Oh. He was 21.
That's ridiculous.
I said, if that ain't fuel, he's got to be like, yeah, okay, good. Because I was getting pissed off and I don't play. I was sitting there going, oh, yeah? Okay, watch this.
Well, what's that man got to do to get some respect? Because it's unbelievable. He's been really a really, really good player since he's been here, and even on Seattle, he can play. And yeah, he says all the right things, does all the right things. He's a guy you can root for. I remember when I was in Denver with Aislinn for that Jets Broncos game this year. He was the most hyped. I remember those videos I was sending you after the game, Kev. He was standing on the bench. He was getting the fans into it.
I love that guy.
I'll think even before the season started, me and Tyson were at almost every practice at training camp for the first couple of weeks. Him and Sauce were just locked at the hip almost every drill. Sometimes they were doing drills by themselves on their own while the rest of the quarterbacks were doing something separate. He was always coaching up Sauce on technique. Like those two were locked at the hip for almost every practice for the entire
Reed is one of my favorite players. One of my favorite players on that team, DJ Reed. I love that guy. I love him.
Last offseason, he was one of the best signings that they made for last year. Specifically because if you watch him in Seattle, he normally had the best. He took the best receiver from the other spot, and he played really well. And then with him and Sauce, pretty much saw it this year. So Sauce would basically take the best guy that the other team had for most of the time, especially when they locked up a man-to-man. And DJ had the other guy. Now, that's not taking anything away from DJ because we know that he can cover number ones on the other side. So that's a good thing. And just in case anything happens down the line, there's 2 number 1 corners.
Yeah,
on the team.
The best. AJ,
I got a question.
That's AJ's boy. That's AJ's boy.
That's a Vayner guy. Let's go. That's our guy.
That's AJ's boy.
So listen, I have a serious question for you because I might be a little biased, being that he is in the Vayner fam and stratosphere. But I was thinking about this the other day. So obviously the Revis Cromartie is the best cornerback tandem we've had here. But comparing Sauce and Reed, like, do you think that DJ Reed is? How do you think he compares to Cromartie? Like, forget about the Revis Sauce comparison. I feel like Reed is better in coverage than Cromartie was. Like, Cromartie
was an all or nothing.
They're not here long enough. It's 1 year. They're not here long enough. You can't stop comparing when there's.
I was just going to say that. So give us a few more years.
Yeah.
To give that comparison, but Jay, you're actually kind of right. So DJ is if you want to do the comparison with DJ and Cromartie. Crow used to guess, so he would get a lot of picks that way, but he also would get burned that way, quite often. He wouldn't rely on his technique with certain things. So
he did have good recovery, man.
He wouldn't tackle either.
Oh my God.
He wouldn't tackle. We can still remember Sean Green running him over.
Sean Green trucked him just right over.
The thing is, DJ relies on his technique for every play. He doesn't shy away from his technique on the play. So that's why he's always in position to make plays. So that's a good thing for him. So the comparison is there, but it's also not, because Crow just relied a lot on athletic ability just to make a lot of plays that he actually gave us. Crow was a phenomenal athlete, man. That dude, he can do a lot of things.
Unbelievable. One of the greatest I've ever seen. That kickoff return, Rob, in Indianapolis in the playoffs, when Rex brought him back there, like, that was, man, I love that. He went back there and he ran that. I mean, we won the game because of that.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, Mark made a nice throw to Braylon on the sideline, but that was, I mean, he took the ball back, I think, inside the Indianapolis 49, 47, somewhere in that range he was.
Yeah, and there was only 25 seconds left?
Yeah, man.
Time, I think, for 3 plays.
I love Crow.
Shout out to Mark Sanchez. Speaking of Mark Sanchez getting married, I saw those pictures of him, out there. He got married. He had Mangold out there. There were some cool pictures in there. Yeah, he got this past weekend.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
I love Mark. Mark's a great guy. He's got great family, man. The best family. The best. His 2 brothers, Brandon and Nick. Great guy, man. The best. That's a great family. His father, just good family, man.
Jay, you want to go into that next topic now? Since we've kind of talked about some of the receivers that Sanchez has played with?
I do. All right. So my question to you guys before I introduce this segment is
it's just wrong.
What do you think, Ed? I'll start with you and we can go around the circle.
Here we go.
Rob probably doesn't have a good answer on this, but I'm sure Ed does. Because I was thinking about the other day how the Mark Sanchez topic actually ties into this. All the fans used to give you shit about wearing a Mark Sanchez jersey, and I always thought that was ridiculous. But if there was one, first of all, what's the worst jersey or that you've owned? We've all had bad one. I don't know. Kevin has a Hackenberg jersey still, but
Hackenberg and Gino.
Hackenberg and Gino. But what's the worst jersey you think that you've owned that you would never put back on again, Ed?
Brown and Nagel.
Yeah, that's right. I sent that picture. You got a Browning Nagel jersey on in '93.
Yes. Those, honestly, the only 2 jerseys I ever wore other than Bruce Harper has been Browning Nagel and Mark Sanchez. It's the only 2 jerseys I ever wore besides Bruce Harper.
Kev, what's your worst one? Hackenberg?
It's got to be the Hackenberg. I mean, the guy never saw the field. You can't get any worse than that.
I got to say, I bought at one point, I owned a Vernon Golston jersey. I had one. It never really made it out of my closet. The $300 mistake of buying a Jamal Adams authentic jersey that's never had the tags ripped off of it, just because of expense and how much went into that jersey, that's a tough one. But leading to the segment, I was on eBay and I was kind of looking for I like buying a weird jersey and rocking it for the new season. So I was looking for some vintage game worn jerseys, and I came across these 2 on eBay. And then I started thinking to myself, could you possibly come up with 2 worse jerseys than a Stephen Hill jersey and a Doug Bryan game-worn jersey? Both of them selling for above $200. So if you had a gun to your head and had to purchase one of these jerseys, Rob, which one of these would you buy and wear?
I guess I would just go with Stephen Hill.
Because he's a wide receiver?
If I had to buy one, and he made a few plays here. He made a few. He didn't make many, but he made a few.
He made a few plays in his first game, and then he did nothing.
Game. 2 touchdowns against the Bills, and then he never did anything else.
He had 4 touchdowns for his career, and he had half of them in his first game. It's absurd.
When you look at Doug Bryan, as soon as you see Doug Bryan, what's the first thing you should think of? What's the game?
2004 Pittsburgh, missing that multiple kicks.
Twice. Lost the game for us. He lost the game. I was there. I was losing my marbles. And that was when with Herm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ed, don't you blame Herm a little bit for that though?
No, yes,
and running the ball 3 times in a row.
I blame Herm, but he missed some. The kicks he missed. Come on, he wasn't even close.
I could be wrong, but at the time, wasn't the record at Heinz Field 45 or 47 yards, something like that?
Bullshit. But I was there. I was right at the first row. Oh, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. He missed the kicks. He choked. He did
and then we overreacted. And then we overreacted and took freaking Mike Nugent in the second round the following year, figuring that would clean up all of our problems. And then it went into the shitter. Crazy.
Crazy times.
Ed, which one of those jerseys would you rather wear, Ed? Would you put the Stephen Hill jersey on? There's no chance you get it.
There's no way I'm putting a kicker on. You can forget that. Although I will tell you, I am a big Nick Falk fan. I love Nick Falk.
Yeah.
Love Nick.
I can't believe
Love
he's
Nick.
still going strong.
Love Nick. Love
is.
Nick.
He should have
So-
still been
He's
in
had quite a
Jets.
career for himself.
Yeah,
Even post-blitz.
I like Nick. I mean, I don't want him doing well with the Patriots, but
He
He's
should-
gone.
he
I think
should-
didn't they get rid of him? I think he's gone now.
well, they drafted
Yeah.
a punter and a kicker.
Yeah.
They
He's
drafted
done.
a punter and a kicker. Belichick, didn't he draft a punter and a kicker this year?
Yep.
Hey,
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you want to start the
Face.
the bring back folk hashtag and let's get that trending.
Nick, let's go. I like Nick.
Folk hero. That's our guy.
All right, so a few other topics to touch on as we start to wrap up. The other day, Jordan Whitehead restructured his contract, saves the Jets about $5 million. They added some void years onto the end of that. So two questions there, I guess. With Chuck Clark, you got Whitehead, Tony Adams, Will Parks. Are you guys okay with that group at safety to start the year? And then with the money that's saved, I think that puts them a little over $20 million. Not to mention, you got the Rodgers extension and the Quinnen extension to work on right now. So, like, where do you think that leaves the Jets? Do you think Joe Douglas is still trying to make another splash move before we get to training camp?
I think that Joe. Not only do I think that this is far from over. I'm telling you right now, if you think the linebacker position in this team is the linebackers they're going with, you're out of your mind. That's not happening. I'm telling you right now. As much as he says C.J. Mosley, Salah loves C.J. Mosley. So C.J. If they go into this season with no backup, with no other linebacker that can play C.J. Mosley's position, that's a problem. That's a major, major problem. That's a weakness because if you look at his film, especially now, I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know what's happening. But, because we're not privy to that. So I don't know. But I know one thing. You cannot tell me that C.J. Mosley from the first year we had him to what he is now, that this is what we're going to do? There's no way. I believe that they're going to address the linebacker position. I think Quan will be back.
He'll be back. He
to be
remains
back.
unsigned for a reason. He's not. He's still on the market for a reason. I feel like they have a deal worked out with him, Quan. For sure. I feel like they have something in.
Well, did you see his highlight? We had the green Jets cleats on. He had the music going. He just posted last night. He had the Jet music on. He had his cleats. He had Joe Namath on a T-shirt, and he was doing his workouts.
All right.
So
Well, I mean,
he wants to come to the Jets.
he'll be back. He'll be back.
So yeah, but he's going to be back. But they need to get like Anthony Barr's out there. There's guys. They need to get a polished linebacker in here. I'm telling you, I would trade with the Baltimore Ravens for Patrick Queen.
Ooh.
I would trade for him. Excuse me. I'm telling you, I would.
That's a big time move. That's a big time
I'm telling
move.
you, listen, we're going for it. Are you kidding me? We don't need weaknesses. And if Mosley ain't got it, that's it. I don't want to know nothing. Oh, give me that bullshit. Because what he did with the Detroit game and the Buffalo game, I mean, there was some big time plays that he didn't make. That listen, I want him to do well. I want him to do well. He's a Jet, but come on. You know what? This team, just remember one thing. If this Salah sticks to what he says he is, then I was just thinking about this last night. There's 6 or 7 guys on this team that you're not getting rid of. After that, everybody's available. Everybody is available. There's 6 or 7 guys, and that's it. You got Aaron Rodgers in that, right? That's it. Aaron Rodgers. That's it. You go get whoever you need to win this goddamn championship. I'm just telling you, and I'm not kidding. I'm dead serious. I'm not putting up with that bullshit with C.J. Mosley. That's bullshit.
So, Ed, if you can make one big time move on the defensive side of the ball, you would go linebacker over another safety?
Absolutely. I would tell you, listen to me. Patrick Queen, I'm just telling you, that defense, we need a smoking guy that can go sideline to sideline. I think so. Rob, just tell me, CJ Mosley, is he himself? Am I out of line? Because if I am, because I trust your opinion. I just trust your opinion.
No, I said this a couple of weeks ago. That I think CJ's lost a step. And you know, there was far too many times if you watch the old 22, even if you watch this game, I mean, if you're just a casual fan, you know the type of player that CJ Mosley was when he was with the Ravens, when he first got here. He was getting blocked downfield just a little too often. He was getting reached on the second level a little bit too often. And you would see, you would see the other linebackers just flying past him, and he would be in position to make plays, but just wasn't making the play, which is not, a CJ Mosley thing. If the guy's actually there, he only made plays. But I started noticing it, just a little too often last season, where he was actually getting touched on the second level just a little bit too much.
Hell yeah, Rob Carpenter knows.
The second half of the season, he really showed like he, in my opinion, that's why I asked, is he hurt? Was he hurt? Because we never privy to that. So we don't know as fans. We just don't know. You know what I mean? But I know one thing, this team is on the verge of something special, and that mother better not be the one that lets us down. I'm telling you right now.
No, he's going to give you a solid effort. I'm not worried about him in that respect. I'm just worried about he's definitely lost a step. So yes. we need to. I mean, that's a fact, which is why I was so surprised. My eye last year didn't think he had as great a season as everybody else did. He was like a first team All Pro last year. It was crazy, but I didn't think he had that kind of season. But
I thought he had a solid year, but it always seemed like every week he had that one or two big plays or just mental mistakes, the offsides in Buffalo. He always had that one mental lapse or just, sometime where he got beat. There was always one or two plays every game where he just what the hell are you doing?
Sometimes your name follows you around the league. So CJ, everyone knows that CJ was actually a great player. So his name is following him still. But, for me, Quincy and Quan made a lot more plays than CJ did, during the season. Quincy was all over the place, man. And there was a few times where Quan wasn't actually in the game, and you're kind of wondering, why is Quan not in the game right now? Because those two, Quincy and Quan, sideline to sideline, those guys are making plays, sideline to sideline. That speed that those two have, and the hitting ability that those two have. I mean, we've seen just in this one season, Quincy light people up. We saw Quan light people up. One thing you didn't see was CJ lighting people up. You saw him make plays, but you didn't see those big time hits, forcing fumbles, causing incompletions and stuff like that, like Quincy and Quan did. So it's going to be interesting. Now since we're at June 1st, what goes on from here till training camp? Because I do think there's going to be probably one or two moves that are made for the season.
I want to be wrong with this, Mosley. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong, but believe me, I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong, but that's the one thing that scares the hell out of me because Salah's up his ass. Salah's always saying, CJ Mosley, and I'm looking, I'm going, what are we talking about? Well, I'm looking at the film. What are we talking about here? I don't get it. And I mean, listen, I love the coach, and I'm a fireman. Listen, I'm just telling you something's got to give on that linebacker position.
Ed, speaking of you being a fireman, I think you'd appreciate this comment. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and being a Jets fan is what it is. However, I was in my first fist fight in years over fireman Ed. Someone was saying Ed was never a real fireman. I couldn't take it anymore. Your fans have your back.
My man, get that guy's name. You gotta have
Mr.
a beer
Forte.
together.
I don't know what his real name is.
We gotta have a beer together. I just had some guy on Cameo the other day. I did a cameo. He was in MMA. He goes, I love you. You ever need anything? I was like, my man.
be my security detail in the game.
You see those cauliflower ears, you run the other way. Tyson Roush always says to me when I was over there in Brick when we were over at Nick Catone's fighting one time, and he goes to me, Eddie, see all these cauliflower ears, right? I said, oh, yeah, of course. He says, when you see that and you're in the bar, he goes, you go the other way. That's the truth. Oh, man.
Those are the guys you don't want to smoke with.
No. Like Rob says, you want that smoke.
Yeah, you don't want that one. I learned that in high school from the guys that won the football team that wrestled.
Yeah.
I learned that in high school. They're like, look, see guys with
Yep.
cauliflower ears, they get it in.
Yep, that's
Don't
it.
mess around.
My buddy Dave, when I was at Drexel in Philadelphia, I won't go off on too long of a rant on this, but this is a funny story. We were outside of a frat party trying to get in, and they didn't want to let us in. We were like sophomores. We were trying to sneak into this frat party, and it was the wrestling house's frat. Like there was like all the wrestling team was in this fraternity, and we tried to sneak in, and they kept saying until we were wasted. They kept saying to us, "You're not getting in, so get the fuck out of here." And we were like, "No, we're gonna figure out a way in." So we go around to the side door, and we're trying to get in this, and then the same dude that was telling us like you better not go in, like comes out the side door like coincidentally and sees us like trying to sneak in and just takes my boy down, right? So he's on the ground with my boy like grappling, and then his leg falls off. He had a prosthetic leg, but he was just taking my friend to school. Like he was like with one leg. He was just crushing him. And I had to pull the guy off of my buddy, and I was like, man, even one leg, no legs, one arm, that wrestler will beat your ass, man. They know everything. They know every move to submit you and you know, use their leverage. It was rough. So for the longest time, like we were just crushing my friend Dave because we were like, man, you try to fuck around too much at the wrestling house, man. You learn your lesson.
Fuck around, find out.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck around and find out.
That's exactly what it was. He found out.
All right, a few more comments to get to. Nobody will get me negative on this team. Bottom line, we're talented. I can compare this roster to any in the league, and we match up well.
Yep, I agree.
Very true.
Fact.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Except for the Giants, because they got that stud Daniel Jones, right? Like,
Yeah. They had their time. Move over. You had plenty of time. It's our turn. Now it's our turn. We get a turn. We get a time.
Any shot we see some throwbacks this year?
No word yet, but hopefully
not this year, but there's rumblings for soon. There's rumblings. I hear them.
All right,
And the coach Joe Douglas is the biggest proponent of this logo. He's
always rocking that look.
Always, and I love that about him. That makes him 37% more likable and 99% less likely that I'd ever put him on a billboard. No, I'm just playing.
No, we love Joe.
Yeah, we love Joe. Joe's the man.
That's the big teddy bear. We love Joe.
For sure.
We love us some Joe Douglas. We love us some Joe Douglas. I want to hug Joe Douglas. I want to hug you, brother, like you hug Rob Sala. I want to hug you, Joe Douglas. You the man.
That's getting clipped. That's getting at least 80,000 views. I'm just telling you right now.
So with that, we'll wrap it up. We'll be back live next Thursday. Thank you guys for all tuning in. We appreciate it. Talk to you guys then.
Quick announcement before we go.
Yes.
We will be joined next week by the one and only Quincy Enunwa. He was scheduled to join us last week, but he wasn't feeling well, so we got him coming on next week, and really looking forward to that. Quincy's the man. He's just been Mr. Positivity. It's like he's trying to break into a little bit of broadcasting and stuff like that. So looking forward to making some content with him.
Sounds good.
Can't wait.
He's a good dude.
Oh yeah, Nebraska. Let's
Yes,
go.
sir.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right,
See
guys.
you guys next week.
All right, man.
All right, be good.
See you next week.